Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Racha Kodesh. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And today we're going to go into the book of Genesis, the 26th chapter. And there was a famine in the land, beside the first famine that was in the days of Abraham. So this was a different famine. And Isaac went on to Abimelech, king of the Philistines, onto Gerar. Now, Abimelech was like a title, similar to how you have Pharaoh. So this wasn't necessarily the same Abimelech that Abraham went to. And the Lord appeared unto him and said, to Isaac that is, Go not down into Egypt, dwell in the land which I shall tell thee of. Sojourn in this land, and I will be with thee, and will bless thee. For unto thee and unto thy seed I will give all these countries, and I will perform the oath which I swear unto Abraham thy father. And so the Lord prevented Isaac from going into Egypt, and rather had him stayed and dwelt in Gerar. And I will make thy seed multiply as the stars of heaven, and I will give unto thy seed all these countries, and in thy seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed. And so the same blessing the Lord gave to Abraham, he would pass down to Isaac, and that's why he had him stay in the land, because he was basically telling him, this land that you're in is going to be given to your descendants, and I'm going to multiply them, and they're going to basically be a great nation, and they're going to be blessed, and through them everybody else is going to be blessed. Because that Abraham obeyed my voice, so the Lord said, I'm going to do this because of the obedience of Abraham, and kept my charge, my commandments, my statutes, and my laws. And right there goes to show you that they had the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Heavenly Father prior to the time of Moses. Then the time of Moses wasn't the first time that the laws were given. It was just the time the Lord had it codified. But at this point, it was passed down orally. Okay, so it was known. And clearly, as the Lord says here, Abraham kept them. And Isaac dwelt in Gerar. And the men of the place asked him of his wife. So they basically inquired, like, yo, who is this? She's really beautiful, all that stuff. And he said, she is my sister. For he feared to say, she is my wife, lest, said he, the men of the place should kill me for Rebekah, because she was fair to look upon. So because of her beauty, he was afraid that, they might try to, similar to what Abraham did, that they might try to kill him for her. And it came to pass, when he had been there a long time, that Abimelech, king of the Philistines, looked out at a window and saw, and behold, Isaac was sporting with Rebekah, his wife. And this sporting, when you go into the word sporting, it goes into, it means to like jest or play, sometimes even mock. But in this case, this would be more of a flirtatious playing around that he was doing with her. Maybe he would chase her, catch her, hug her from the back, So as it says, to play, to laugh, to make sport with. And basically it was in a way where looking at it, you'd be like, yeah, nah, that's definitely not a brother-sister relationship right there. And as you can see here, it says to play, to sport, to jest, to laugh repeatedly. Genesis 19 and 14, with singing or dancing. See that? So Abimelech knew. He's like, yeah, I wasn't born yesterday. I know what's going on here. And behold, in verse 9, and Abimelech called Isaac and said, Behold, of a surety she is thy wife. And how saidest thou, she is my sister? So I know definitely that is not your sister. So why did you say she was your sister? And Isaac said unto him, Because I said, lest I die for her. So he said, the reason I said that was because I didn't want to die. I didn't want anybody to kill me, if they found out that that's my wife, so that they could take her. And Abimelech said, What is this that thou hast done unto us? One of the people might lightly have lain with thy wife. So, somebody could have taken her to wife, and at this point you would have brought hell upon us. And thou shouldest have brought guiltiness upon us, had that been the case, because that would have been adultery, which goes to show you they knew about that law. And Abimelech charged all his people, saying, He that toucheth this man or his wife shall surely be put to death. Then Isaac sowed in the land, and received in the same year 100-fold, and the Lord blessed him. So the Lord was really dropping them blessings on Isaac. And the man waxed great, and went forward, and grew until he became very great. For he had possessions of flocks, and possessions of herds, and great store of servants, and the Philistines envied him. So when they saw how blessed and great he became, they started to become envious. For all the wells which his father's servants had digged in the days of Abraham his father, the Philistines had stopped them and filled them with earth, which is some BS. And Abimelech said unto Isaac, Go from us, for thou art much mightier than we. So you've become too great. You gotta go, man. We can't have you dwelling in here anymore. And Isaac departed thence, and pitched his tent in the valley of Gerar, and dwelt there. And Isaac digged again the wells of water, which they had digged in the days of Abraham his father, for the Philistines had stopped them after the death of Abraham. And he called their names after the names by which his father had called them. So after they basically sealed those wells, he had his servants start to dig them back up again, because water was a very, very important resource at this time and in this location. And Isaac's servants digged in the valley, and found there a well of springing water. And the herdmen of Gerar did strive with Isaac's herdmen, saying, The water is ours. And he called the name of the well Esek, because they strove with him. So it was a constant back and forth every time they went to the well. And so he named it that. And they digged another well. And when you go into that name Esek, it basically goes into that. That's why he named it after that. Ishak, contention. Okay. And they digged another well, and strove for that also. And he called the name of it Sitnah. And he removed from thence, and digged another well. And for that they strove not. So when he digged here, they say, Oh no, that's ours. He goes over here, they say, Oh no, that's ours. So he said, we're just gonna move further out and then dig a well over there. And when he did that, they didn't come to strive with that one. And so he called the name of it Rehoboth. For he said, For now the Lord Yahweh hath made room for us, and we shall be fruitful in the land. And he went up from thence to Beersheba. Remember, that was one of the areas that I think it was one of the wells that Abraham called that because of the oath he had made with Abimelech. Well of the sevenfold oath. And the Lord Yahweh appeared unto him the same night, and said, I am the God of Abraham thy father. Fear not, for I am with thee, and I will bless thee and multiply thy seed for my servant Abraham's sake. And he builded an altar there, and called upon the name of the Lord Yahweh, and pitched his tent there, and there Isaac's servants digged a well. Then Abimelech went to him from Gerar, and Ahuzath, one of his friends, and Pichol, the chief captain of his army. Once again, these aren't the same people from the time of Abraham, but this is a title, likely referring to like a rank in the army of Abimelech. And Isaac said unto them, Wherefore come ye to me, seeing ye hate me, and have sent me away from you? So what do you want now? You hated me so much, you kicked me out of your land. Now what do you want? And they said, We saw certainly that the Lord Yahweh was with thee. And we said, Let there be now an oath betwixt us, and betwixt meaning between, even betwixt us and thee, and let us make a covenant with thee. So they said, No, look, let's let that be water under the bridge. We see how the Lord is dealing with you. So, we just want to make an oath, an agreement, a covenant of peace. That thou wilt do us no hurt, as we have not touched thee, and as we have not done unto thee or as we have done unto thee nothing but good, and have sent thee away in peace. Thou art now blessed, or the blessed of the Lord. So, to be fair, we didn't harm you, right? Abimelech said he gave a decree that nobody could harm you or your wife, and we took good care of you. Yeah, we kicked you out, but for good reason, right? So why don't we just put that, let bygones be bygones, and let's make a deal. Let's make a covenant. And he made them a feast, and they did drink and eat. And they rose up betimes in the morning, and sware one to another. And Isaac sent them away, and they departed from him in peace. And it came to pass the same day that Isaac's servants came, and told him concerning the well which they had digged, and said unto him, We have found water. So the same day, right, they came there with good news, basically. And he called it Sheba. Therefore, the name of the city is Beersheba on to this day. So you had the well, and you had the city that was basically formed, and that's why it's called Beersheba until today. And Esau was 40 years old when he took. All right, and so now the context switches now from Isaac's endeavors, as it says here. And Esau was 40 years old when he took to wife Judith, the daughter of Beeri the Hittite, and Bashemath, the daughter of Elon the Hittite, which were a grief of mind unto Isaac and to Rebekah, meaning they were not fans of it at all. They did not they did not like the idea of their son marrying the Hittites, um, similar to Abraham forbidding his servant from taking a woman of the Canaanites to marry Isaac. And that brings us to the end of the book of Genesis, the 26th chapter. Lord willing, that was edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Recha Kodash. And until next time, Shalom.